Your presenter, Anthony de Beauville. And of course, as always, it was an interesting week in terms of news, both local, regional, and international. And I simply hope each one of you had a productive one in your various fields of work, school, and sports. Of course, you can join us on our various media platforms on UTV channel 124. Our telephone numbers 572-7588 or 484-7588. I have quite a bit in store for you this evening. I don't have a calling guest. I don't have an in-studio guest. So guess what? I have a packed schedule for you, I'm sure. The region and of course further afield. I will start off this evening on a winning note. Yeah, a winning note. And I'm referring to West Indies women. But of course, yesterday, to be exact, the West Indies, they commenced the campaign in the ICC Women's Cricket World Cup in New Zealand. And of course, it goes like this. A magnificent century from Hayley Matthews and a super blast over by Deanna Doughton led West Indies to a sensational win over host New Zealand by 3 runs in the opening contest yesterday in the ICC Women's World Cup. It was a perfect start to the marquee event as Matthews made 119 as the West Indies scored 259 for 9 of the 50 overs. It was a successful return to the top of the batting order as Matthew hit 16 fours and a 6 of 128 balls to record her first World Cup century and 3rd for the West Indies overall. Then in the final over of the match, Doughton took matters into her hands to lift her team to victory, defending just 6 runs. She took the key wickets of New Zealanders 2 batters, Katie Martin, 44, and Jess Kerr, 25. Doughton also had a hand in the run-out of last batter, Fran Jonas, for no score to seal the deal. It was one of the greatest wins in West Indies women history. Scores: West Indies 259 for 9, Matthews 119, Nation 36, Taylor 20. Bowling for England, Tahuhu 3 for 57 and Jessica 2 for 43. England 256 all out in 49.5 overs. Sophie Devine 108, Katie Martin 44, Jessica 25. Bowling for West Indies, Doughton 2 for 2, Matthews 2 for 41, and Mohammed, a bit expensive, picked up 2 for 60. The West Indies will play the next encounter in the ICC Women's World Cup on Wednesday 9th March when they meet England at 6 p.m. Eastern Caribbean time. And of course, we just saw some of the picks here in some of the action yesterday. Meanwhile, the West Indies men's senior team will start their campaign in the first APEC test against Joe Root-led England team on Wednesday 9th at the Sir Vivian Richards Cricket Stadium in Antigua. The West Indies squad: Brathwaite captain, Blackwood vice captain, Bonnet, Brooks, Campbell, Da Silva, Holder, Azari Joseph, Myers, Pomal, Philip, Roach, and Jaden Seales. And staying with international cricket, and this on a sad note quickly, the cricket world lost a legend as former Australia wicketkeeper Rod Marsh passed away aged 74. Marsh has suffered a massive heart attack in Queensland last week and was indeed induced coma at the Royal Adelaide Hospital until his death. Meanwhile, St. Lucia, Australia cricketer Shane Warne, considered one of the greatest players in the history of the sport, has died at the age of 52. His management company confirmed on Friday, "It is with greatest sadness we advise that Shane Keith Warne passed away of a suspected heart attack in Thailand today," which was Friday, said a statement from MPC Entertainment. Shane was found unresponsive in his villa, and despite the best effort of medical staff, he could not be revived. And of course, that Shane Warne here to your right, and the legendary West Indies cricketer, former captain Brian Lara. I'm sticking with cricket news, and of course, local. Results in the APL CPL Sipal Holden Shaz knockout tournament played on Thursday evening. And the reason why I'm reading this is because there's a semi-final in a few minutes. Cricket fans were treated to another exciting encounter in the 2020 APL Sipal Holden Shaz knockout tournament on Thursday evening, as Labey recorded a 44-run victory over DC United. Batting first, Labey 115 all out in 19.1 overs. Jason Simon top scored 42. Alvinus Calendar 15, while Cornelius Calendar and Jaden Eli Box each scored 13. Bowling for DC United, Tyler Sukwa picked up 3 for 19. Steven Gabriel 2 for 1. And 1 wicket each to Joshua Sipal, Keegan Arnold, and Tyrell Chiku. In reply, DC United was stunned by Omari Fields as he grabbed 3 wickets in the first over. DC United never recovered, and were all out for 71 in 16 overs, with 7 batsmen. 7 batsmen failed to trouble the scorers. Only Keegan Arnold put up a fight to top score with 24. Jovan Charles 14 and Stafford Gabriel 11. Bowling for Labey, Omari Fields 4 for 7. 2 wickets each to Jaden Libox and Cornelius Calendar, and 1 wicket to Alvinus Calendar. Man of the match, Omari Fields. In fact, like I just said, in the next few minutes, 7:30 to be exact, Labey will take on Millet in one of the playoff semi-finals. And I'm referring to that match will bowl off at 7:30 this evening. While the winner of this evening matchup will play Mont Olives in the final on Thursday evening, March 10th from 6:30 p.m. We turn our attention to swimming. And I'm referring to local swimming. The St. Lucia Aquatic Federation has selected a 7-member team to represent St. Lucia at the upcoming Carifta Swimming Championship to take place in Bridgetown, Barbados, April 6th to the 20th. The Federation, however, has not released the events or races each individual swimmer will be competing in, nor the officials traveling with the team to Barbados. Earlier today, well, that was supposed to be today, but they have shifted to Monday. The SLAF, under the watchful eyes of the technical director, David Peter King, will host a time trial at the Ronnie Hat Aquatic Center for one athlete who appears to be a shade off the qualifying time in the 50-meter free and 50-meter breast. And I'm referring to Ziv Reynolds. The 7-member team, Naima Hazel, Nikisha Louis, debutant Faith Jeffrey, DeAndre Blanchard, Tristan Doville, Ethan Hazel, and Carrick Charles. Originally, the meet was set to occur, or was scheduled for Barbados. In the first instance in 2020 and 2021, on both occasions, it was postponed due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. I will take a quick break, but when I come back, I have some football news for you, and we're going into some International Women's Day celebration. I'll be right back.
Hi there, everyone. This is
exclusive hot.
You're watching UTV TV for you.
Go and watch any cartoons now. All right? Then Lucia, you're doing fine? Beautiful. Okay, let's look at some local football, and I'm referring to Youth Academy. And that's VSADC Youth Academy wishes to inform all members, parents, and guardians following its closure due to the spike of the COVID-19 cases locally. Academy sessions will resume at the sub-playing field from Saturday, 12 March from 10 a.m. And that's, I'm referring to next weekend. Training sessions will be held for the following age groups on the 11, 13, 15, and 20. The Academy is currently looking to recruit new members for the 2022 season, especially in the under 15 and under 11 age group. Parents wishing to enroll their children in a structured personal development and football program can collect the prescribed membership form at the sub from Academy officials on Saturday, 12. Upon completion of the form, parents will have to submit a copy of a national identification document, passport or national identification card, a fit to participate letter from a medical doctor, and a nominal application fee. And I simply hope the many parents grab this opportunity for the young boys and girls as they look to further in their sporting act. And St. Lucia, we're just hours away in terms of celebrating International Women's Day. And as always, we here at UTV, we leave no stone unturned as we continue to highlight the efforts of our sport women in this country. And I want to reassure all sports personalities on island that this program is for you, and we will continue to highlight you. The world, and by extension, St. Lucia, in the next 72 hours, thereabout, will celebrate International Women's Day, IWD. Without gender equality today, in fact, the theme for this year's observation, gender equality for a sustainable tomorrow. And of course, without gender equality today, a sustainable future and an equal future remain beyond our reach. On this special occasion, we as a nation owe an enormous amount of gratitude to the women in our lives. And this is just a general statement, all right? International Women's Day is all about celebrating these incredible people. Like International Women's Day 2021, Saturday Sports Night, and UTV Channel 124 salute all of St. Lucian women, but most specifically our women who compete in various sporting disciplines and in sports administration at all levels, community, club, school, and national association. I must first indicate though, not all photos, names, past and present can be mentioned. However, the sport that you serve, in whatever capacity, is being recognized. And I've put together a few pics, and I simply hope that you enjoy that segment of the program. Because that's a young basketball player. young youth cricketer, C.J. James, former national cricketer, Elizabeth Williams, we have two athletes going neck and neck or stride for stride to the finish. Of course, Brittany Mangal played her first golf tournament last weekend at the Sanders Golf Course. And this is Colin Newman, co-founder and director of Growell, and of course in charge of responsible for the young people involved in golf at that institution. And of course, Mara Thompson. And of course, she's here on island. She's St. Lucian, former member of parliament in Barbados. And of course, you have the president of the National Netball Association, Rufina Paul, and also president of the Caribbean Netball Association. Members of the under 16 netball team. Coach Dolanin Joseph. Of course, we have some rugby news here. Rugby is in the house as well. Women rugby. We have swimming as well. Women in swimming. Of course, two tennis players, Vanessa Busher and Aisha Emil. Of course, this young lady you see here is Latoya Murray, and she's presently in the Dominican Republic, representing St. Lucia in the under 16 G League. Of course, this is Mary Roberts, a rugby player. Kai Smith, under 19 female cricketer. Vern Alexander, national netballer. Vice President, St. Lucia Athletics Association, Shillian Lubin. Brendan Lynn Descat, St. Lucia Athletics Association. Monica Dudley, Vice President, St. Lucia Bodybuilding Association. Julie Bonnet, Vice President, St. Lucia Box. You saw people here, they have gone the extra mile in ensuring sports remain alive in St. Lucia, and I'm happy to report that our numbers are definitely going down, and I salute you, St. Lucia women in sports. Now, the special moment. I have also selected 5 women, and I'm referring to Saturday Sports Night, SSN, and like I did for the men, in terms of Men International Day, November last year, where I selected 6 men and name integrity ambassadors. This is my in-house thing. This has nothing to do with ministry or government. This is just my in-house thing, and I believe you're deeply involved with sports and you ought to recognize people. So I'm taking the liberty and to do that. And of course, I want to start off with Eugenia Gregg. And of course, you can mention, all right, women cricket in the Caribbean, and the one name that is sure to surface is Eugenia Gregg. She acquired some of her cricketing skills by engaging the young lads of a sporting community, Geno, by playing tip and run. I guess you all have remembered as young children growing up, right? Or Agozin, on the road during her leisure time. However, she developed a more serious approach to the game by participating in a structural National Day women's cricket competition, which was held in a neighboring community of Forestier from 1983 to 1986. Greg actively served as Public Relations Officer of the St. Lucia National Women's Cricket Association from the inception of St. Lucia participation in the sport at the regional level and Vice President of the national body for 2 consecutive years. In 1987, she was part of an invitational team who traveled to Trinidad and Tobago as guests of the Mary Girls women cricket team. In 1988, she made her debut at the national level as vice captain of the national team, a position she held until 1990, where she later went on to captain the national team until 1987. She was featured prominently after having gained selection on the West Indies squad from 1989 to 1987, and that's going 8 years. Her selection on the West Indies team in 1993, along with her teammate and friend and the late Patricia Patsy Felicia, earned her bragging rights of being the first St. Lucian female to represent St. Helen on the West Indies women cricket team. Gregos, as she's affectionately known, was one of the few female cricketers who was privileged to represent the West Indies in 2 World Cups, England 1993 and India 1997 respectively. In 2007-2008, she was the recipient of the St. Lucia Cricket Association President's Trophy and Plaque from the Ministry of Social Transformation, Youth and Sports for her outstanding administrative roles and contribution to the development of cricket on the island. Further recognition came her way at the conclusion of the 2008 regional tournament hosted in St. Lucia, where she was awarded for playing at the national level for 20 consecutive years. Greg has made a significant contribution towards the development of the sport at the youth and senior levels. She facilitated the cricket component of the Sport for Life program and continued to work with the Ministry of Youth Development and Sports in collaboration with the Sandals Foundation and the West Indies Cricket Board as a manager of the 2011 Sandals Academy on the 15 Boys Camp, which was held in St. Lucia. She took on additional role of president of the South Castles Cricket Association when she was voted unopposed in 2006 election, becoming a SCCA first female president. Juggling for sports and work as a supervisor of the government-operated early childhood service for several years was not enough. She took on the additional responsibility of coaching and went on to attain a WICB Level 1 coaching certification. Additionally, she exhibited an admirable balance between academic work and sports, which did not go unnoticed by the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College Department of Continued Studies. The learning institution was proud to highlight Greg as the most outstanding student to complete a certificate in social work with distinction in 2003 and an associate degree in 2007. Subsequently, Greg created history at UWI Cave Hill when she successfully introduced the sport to several students who later participated in the Barbados Cricket Association Domestic League and later gained selection on the Barbados national team. Other administrative functions bestowed on Greg, who former coach and manager of the UWI Blackbirds women cricket team, Barbados, manager of both the senior and under-19 national women's cricket team, third vice president of the St. Lucia Cricket Association from 2014 to 2019, manager of the West Indies women's cricket team from 2007 to 2020, chairperson of the Windward Island Women's Cricket Committee in 2029. She was voted for the position, and since then, 2 Windward Women's Cricket Tournament was played in St. Lucia under Skerrit and Dr. Shallow administration. Greg was appointed a member of the Cricket Development Committee for 2 years. She's a community activist, equally well known for her commitment and involvement in community activities geared towards the development of a community general in Tuwuche Castries. Greg was president and one of the founding members of the local community team toughest wrecking crew and treasurer of the Development Committee. St. Lucia, I present you my first integrity ambassador for women, Eugenia Gregg. Well done, Greg. You must never allow these kind of moments to go by, because at most times the young people upon coming have no idea of those who have served us, you know. So there's an old saying, after you're gone, they remember you. But truly and truly, really and truly, I'm doing it the other way around. Before you go, I'm recognizing you on this program. Right, St. Lucia? Diane Rowell. Diane Rowell is a practice dentist at Rowell's Dentistry and the managing director of Rodney Hyde Aquatic Center in Grosley. She holds a bachelor degree from the South Carolina State University 79 and a doctor of dental surgery degree from George University 82, Washington, D.C. She spent the last 40 years serving the public in private dental practice, but she prides herself promoting the health of a patient. Also, for the past 40 years, she has equally shared a passion for the sport of swimming, which was instrumental to her development and professional growth as a swimming official. She was the first female referee in St. Lucia, proprietor of the Rodney Hyde Aquatic Center. Since opening the doors over 2 decades ago, the RAC, and that's how it's been called, have hosted the following events: OECS Championship, Carnival Relay, the Mirage, which is the Friends St. Lucia Connection, CJ's Karen Bowbread Championship, Sharks, and primary and secondary school championship. For the last 20 years, she has organized one of the top swimming championships in the Caribbean, dubbed RAC Invitational Swim Meet, an event sanctioned by the St. Lucia Aquatic Federation. The meet has grown immensely, as over 390 swimmers representing 25 different clubs from the region come to compete over 4 days of competition, and this year will be no exception. And I can tell you, if you're interested in swimming, you can also look forward to the 21st edition of the RAC Invitational next month, and I'm referring to April 7th to 10th. St. Lucia, Dr. Diane Rowell. Salute you, Doc. And most times person might say, but why I starting off with a doctor? She's not a doctor. No. Before serving, she was a doctor. She was a dentist, you understand? So you have to give her dues, you know? Right. And I'm looking at now my third recipient. And she's no stranger to St. Lucia, no stranger to the OECS, no stranger to the Caribbean, no stranger to the world of sports. And by now, you should have your guests should have been even better than mine. And I'm referring to our very own St. Lucia, Levin Spencer. Dubbed St. Lucia High Jump Queen and most decorated sportswoman of all time. She's one of the Commonwealth and Central America and Caribbean leading high jumper for close to 2 decades, with an impressive resume that also boasts a combined number of podium calls. The 37-year-old represented St. Lucia for 23 consecutive years in the sports of track and field. And like anything else in life, St. Lucia, and for those who knew what she had to put up with in national attire, for the world-ranked athlete, it was a challenging journey, laced with lots of literal blood, sweat, and tears, but a very rewarding journey as well. 4 consecutive Olympic Games, 2008 Beijing, China, 2012, London. 2016, Rio, Brazil. 2020, and of course, as you're all aware that because of the COVID, 20 Olympic was 2021, and I'm going to Tokyo, Japan. 8 consecutive World Championships. 2019, Doha, Qatar. 2017, London. 2015, Beijing, China. 2014, Russia. 2011, Korea. 2019, Berlin, Germany. 2007, Osaka, Japan. 2015, Helsinki, Finland. 5 consecutive Commonwealth Games. 2018, Gold Coast, Australia. 2014, Glasgow, Scotland. 2010, Delhi, India. 2006, Melbourne, Australia. 2002, Manchester, England. 16 Sportswoman of the Year titles, and not forgetting her first appearance representing St. Lucia at the Crieff Junior Track and Field Championship in Matic in 1999. In closing, she announced her retirement from competitive athletics in early November, of 2021. Saturday Sports Night. Integrity Ambassador, number 3, Levance Spencer. I will take my second break because when I come back, I have 2 more for you.
Protocols for international visitors while in St. Lucia. The following protocols are established to guide the stay of all guests while on island in order to mitigate any possible spread of infection. During the first 14 days, visitors are allowed to patronize approved beaches, restaurant, sea and land excursions, and sites and attractions. All visits are scheduled and pre-arranged by their respective accommodation providers. During this period, all visitors will be transported to and from the certified sites using only COVID-19 certified tourism transportation. After the first 14 days, if any visitor wishes to stay on island beyond the 14-day period, they must apply for and receive a health clearance certificate from the Ministry of Health. Visitors will be allowed to travel, be out in the wider public and patronize local businesses unsupervised once health clearance certificates have been received. During their entire stay, visitors must wear their masks whenever they are in public places and maintain the mandatory 6 feet distancing from others.
It's your boy Dove Tufani and Noah Sales.
And Noah C. And we're locked on to
TV.
I don't always watch TV,
But when we do
it's always you.
TV,
Yeah.
channel 124.
It's a rich channel. Network.
Shake the bumper and touch the ground. You know you have the African.
Who is the next integrity ambassador? But if I tell you, don't tell nobody. And my next integrity ambassador, and I'm referring to Paula Cauldron. All right? Paula Cauldron. Paula Allison Goddard Cauldron was born in St. Lucia on December 4th, 1951. Her primary education began at the Castries Anglican School, from which she graduated to St. Joseph Convent in order to pursue her secondary education. Having completed that phase of her educational development, she then moved to the UK to do a course in secretarial services before gaining admission to Booking College in the United States, where she obtained a Bachelor of Science degree majoring in physical education and recreational administration. After obtaining her tertiary education, she returned to her home native St. Lucia, where she would embark on a course that would see her making formidable contribution to the social, educational, and economic development of her country. In terms of her professional career, Paula's illustrious professional career began in 1972, when she joined the Commonwealth Development Corporation, CDC, as secretary to the general manager of the Rodney Bay Development. Just prior for the completion of the CDC project, she was recruited as secretary to the general manager of Cunard Latop Hotel, where she settled for a number of years before venturing into the public sector. She joined the St. Lucia Tourist Board in 1979, where she served as research and marketing officer for a period of 3 years. In 1981, she was appointed as a marketing manager for the Point Seraphine Duty-Free Complex for 3 years, for a 3-year term, by the National Development Corporation, NDC, under whose portfolio responsibility for the complex falls. In 1983, she was appointed a director of the St. Lucia Promotions Limited, with specific responsibility for the design, development, and marketing of tours. She acted in that capacity for a period of 5 years. She served as a director of the St. Lucia Tourist Board from 1980 to 1982, during which time she was responsible for research and marketing. In 1986, she was appointed as a marketing and promotion manager for the duty-free Point Seraphine complex, a position she held until 1980, when she decided that it was time to move to private sector. In 1990, after giving years of public service, she decided that the time has come to pitch a bold new excursion into the private sector. Paula then left NDC and joined her husband in the acquisition of Pepino's Pizza food chain, an outfit comprising 3 pizza outlets in the city of Castries and 1 in the town of Vieux-Fort. And some of you too young to know that, right? Pepino's Pizza. Oh yeah, man. Having initiated into the world of the private sector, the next step was to move into manufacturing sector to set up an industry by the name of Beautiful Windows, which would later evolve into what is now known as Caribbean Owen Production Company Limited. Under Paula's and her husband's leadership and direction, the company began to take shape and develop, assuming its rightful place in the local business community by producing quality products such as Owen blinds, which are energy-saving products, and hurricane shutters, not only for St. Lucian market, but for the other islands of the Eastern Caribbean as well. After her husband's tragic death in 2003, Paula had no choice but to assume the reign of control as managing director of the company, which is still in its infancy and no doubt carried tremendous responsibilities and challenges. Under Paula's astute and strong management, Caribbean Onion has grown and developed into a successful manufacturing operation with an expanded portfolio of products and services, generating needed employment opportunities and catering to the needs of the Eastern Caribbean community. Having established a firm grip on the management of the Caribbean Onion in 2007, she proceeded to set up a new company, Caribbean Tents and Service Limited, providing tents, chairs, and other product for hosting of special events utilizing materials fabricated by her sister company, Caribbean Awnings. As managing director, Paula has taken these companies to regional and international level, and in the process gaining the distinction of international awards, ISO certification, contender of world class, and more recently, consistently winning Diamond Awards in all categories of the St. Lucia Manufacturers Award held every 2 years. Duke of Edinburgh Award Conference, Paula Addison Goddard Cauldron commenced her volunteering service as a Gale Guide, gaining the Queen's Guide certificate in November 1967, which led her to participate in the Duke of Edinburgh Award Scheme program. Her effort and hard work were tested by gaining the Gold Award Medal in 1969, the first woman in St. Lucia to gain this award. The award was presented by Prince Philip, who chaired the award conference held in St. Lucia in 1975. The conference was organized with the support of Paula Goddard Cauldron as secretary of the association. An extract of the Caribbean Awards Conference in 1975 handbook, the scheme suffered a severe setback with the departure of the island of Miss Paula Goddard, the first girl gold winner. In 1975, Paula represented St. Lucia on an ambassadorial level in Hong Kong at the Duke of Edinburgh Gold Award exhibition. Sports-wise, from the tender age of 17, Paula demonstrated a keen sense of leadership and an admirable quality of dedication to service. Aside from being very actively engaged in sports, as an extraordinary player, at the national level, she was Netballer and Volleyball of the Year in 1979. She also served as president of the Netball Association for 4 years, for consecutive years, from 1987 to 1991, which tenure she took the Netball Association to such great heights that the association was able to win the Association of the Year award for in three consecutive succession. Paula Cauldron introduced into netball arena the Hall of Fame honorary membership, the President's Award. She increased its affiliates by 40% and introduced the under-23, under-19, and under-15 squad. Throughout her sporting career, or sporting years, she was a member of the St. Lucia Olympic Committee, vice president of the Caribbean Netball Association, and member of several disciplinary sporting committees. In 1979, she represented St. Lucia at the 5th World Netball Tournament in Trinidad and Tobago and was identified as one of the best defense players. An avid sportswoman, she has excelled to become one of the most respected, accomplished netball and sports administrators and players in St. Lucia and the Caribbean. Her extracurricular activities involve serving on numerous committees pertaining to the administration of sports, healthcare, and community development, and needless to say, was the recipient of numerous awards and accolades. And of course, let me tell you, St. Lucia, I want to be honest with you here, because if it was overseas, they will give you everything, and I'm giving you everything of Paula Cauldron. Paula was a founder member of the Sickle Cell Association in 1987 and served as its president from inception. She has almost single-handedly borne the responsibility of running and financially maintaining the association over the past 30 years. The St. Lucia Sickle Cell Association is known internationally and in St. Lucia as the best-run sickle cell institution in the Caribbean. And I can tell you, St. Lucia, today sickle cell disease is a household name. All children in St. Lucia are tested for sickle cell disease and are followed from birth until. And like I said, in terms of the manufacturing, she was elected to serve as president of the St. Lucia Manufacturers Association for 4 consecutive years, 2009-2014, during which tenure she elevated the profile and standing of the organization and culture of the organization into a force to be reckoned with, as her main focus was on standards. She's the first woman to be president of the association. St. Lucia, we have to give Jack his jacket. And I can tell you, over the years, Paula has been the recipient of many accolades and awards. She was recognized as the Queen Guide in 1967 and later in 1969. Was a proud recipient of the Duke of Edinburgh Gold Award Medal, the first St. Lucian female to have achieved that award. She was also chosen to represent St. Lucia at the Duke of Edinburgh Commonwealth Gold Award exhibition in Hong Kong. And I can go on and on and on until tomorrow. And rest assured, at present, she is currently a member of the Board of Directors of the National Insurance Corporation. She was recently appointed to serve as the Director of the Castries Car Park facility. She was also appointed to the Board of Directors of the National Insurance Property Development and Management Company Limited. Paula is an ambitious, hard-working individual who has made a formidable contribution to the national development of this country. A woman of true grit, she has always displayed remarkable powers of leadership and an admirable quality of dedication to service, always ready to go far beyond the call of duty to assist others. She is a woman of striking personality and of the highest integrity, a responsible and dynamic leader, always willing to better her community and country. Her ability to be creative, visionary, innovative, and highly efficient, and some of the rare qualities which distinguish her as a shining example, a national success story. St. Lucia, my number 4, integrity ambassador. Saturday Sports Night, Paula Caldron. As we continue, let me get this here. We'll be going into my final individual, and that individual, my final individual, Marianne Marcel Montut, integrity ambassador, Saturday Sports Night, number 5. Marianne Marcel Montut netball career spanned 4 decades from 1963, and during that period picked up numerous awards and trophies, including Netballer of the Year and Sportswoman of the Year in 1974. She was a member of the St. Lucia senior national netball team for 18 consecutive years and was captain of 5 occasions. Marianne represented St. Lucia on a secondary school team to Trinidad and Tobago in 1971. And at the tender age of 16 years old, and in that same year went on to play for the senior team in Antigua. Her flawless shooting in Antigua gained her the Lystra Lewis Trophy as she ended on the top in the shooting competition. She is on record as being the first netballer to capture that trophy. Marianne, who played goal attack and goal shoot for her club, represented St. Lucia during the World Netball Tournament in Trinidad in 1989. In 1999, Marianne became the 3rd female athlete to be inducted in the Ayalola Marathoners Hall of Fame, joining netball giants Aldif Isaac and Euralis Booty. In 1974, Marianne joined the Shamrock Sports Club and distinguished herself on the netball court, both locally and regionally, and become the chief recruiter, or one can say scout, for the club's netball team. Many of those girls, or young women, who passed under her coaching went on to represent the various national teams. Marianne played an integral role in Shamrock reign as national netball champion for 17 consecutive years. In 1992, one of her proudest moments in the game came when Shamrock represented St. Lucia at the OECS Club Championship, became champions at home. Shamrock repeated that feat in 1993 and went on 1993 and 1994 and went on to secure 3 more titles before they lost their title as national champions in 2002. The Sports Hall of Fame member and the first A-grade netball umpire for St. Lucia was a PE teacher at St. Joseph Convent from 2000 to 2016, during which time she captured the title of PE Teacher of the Year in 2015. Among some of her other awards was the National Lepito Silver Medal for her contribution to sports. St. Lucia, Marianne Martial Montout, Integrity Ambassador, number 5. I just want to take this opportunity here, and of course, management of UTV 124, in congratulating those 5 women, joining the 6 men. And I simply hope that, we can appreciate that. And trust me, it was a tall ask in selecting the final 5. Trust me on that one. I simply hope we all appreciate as a nation and salute the effort, hard work, and sacrifice put in by Fair Helen's daughters. Sometimes these contributions come under very trying circumstances. And all we see, all right, St. Lucia, is the end product. All right? Again, to the 5, congrats. And before I close that segment, let me go back to some more pics of our women in sports. Yeah, and I deliberately had all this chat here, so the young people can appreciate those names or those persons who made it on Saturday sports night, integrity ambassadors. And when you see these people, you can always stop and have a quick chat. They will be more than willing to answer your questions and more than willing to assist in some way. Trust me on that one. And yes, we have the pics coming up here. Let's have a look at them here now. Of course, Lucy Goodman, boxing. Liz Campbell, football. Responsible for women football. Karen Tobier, netball. Later, Charlemagne Mason, Deputy Permanent Secretary Sports, and of course, netball. Lyndon Ford, netball coach. Alice Lynch works with the Ministry of Sports as a netball coach, former national player. Of course, Sonia Antoine, first Vice President, Netball Association. And here we have a rugby player, Chantal John, police officer. Keisha, of course, in rugby. Constance Rennie, executive member of the St. Lucia Aquatic Federation. And as you're aware, her daughter, Michaela Charlemagne, went to the Olympic last year, a swimmer. Liz Monplessis, member of the St. Lucia Aquatic Federation, executive. And here we have another member of the Paula James, executive member of the Swimming Association. Here we have Yemen Sports Officer Isabel Mackey. And St. Lucia, like I said earlier, I just couldn't put everybody, but your respective association was mentioned, and I simply hope that you did enjoy that segment. And I just want to, before I have about 4 more minutes, but I just want to touch on something, disturbing news. And I doubt very much I'll have run with if I didn't mention it tonight. And I'm referring to pertaining to a news that hit the airwave, local airwave this week, and pertaining to a sports coach. I mean, St. Lucia, I want to make a comment, or I want to tackle something here now, on a very serious note. The role of a coach in any sporting discipline isn't just a coach, you know. All right? Coaches are placed to help athletes reach their potential. And one must never ever forget that role. And that is to facilitate learning, offer advice, and also analyze the individual to identify weaknesses and strengths. And my advice, I give you 3. I ain't charging nobody. To both male and female coaches, because there are times we look to forget the female coaches, both male and female coaches. You are entrusted by a parent, school, club, National Sports Association, the Ministry of Education, and the Ministry of Sports, and one expect you to carry out your duties in a professional manner. Always remember that athlete, be it boy or girl, who is under your watch, you are responsible for their safety. You have to act as a parent, mentor, security, counselor, and trainer. Coaches, you draw a white line. Gain your respect from day one. On the field of play, yes, coach. In the classroom, yes, sir, or yes, miss. When certain uncalled behaviors happen, the damaging signal is sent out. And parents have the right not to entrust coaches or even have their children involved in sports anymore. On the parent side of things, my advice to you, play your part during training sessions as well. Don't drop off and believe it's a daycare center where the coach has to babysit. No. Get involved and let's create a sporting transparency for all: coach, athlete, parent, community, club, school, National Sports Federation. And that's all I'm going to say on that. St. Lucia, coaches, draw your line. Just draw your line. Plain blank. Straightforward with you. Just draw your line. All right? Good. Now, I have a minute left. Let me take this opportunity to wish those who celebrate birthdays and those who have birthdays coming, happy birthday, belated and coming. Those who lost a loved one, our sincerest condolences to each and every one of you as you commence your period of mourning. Those going out tomorrow in terms of their various places of worship, drive carefully, enjoy, give praises. And just a reminder, we have entered the Lenten season. All right, just a reminder. And also, according to the news, it looked like we have received the all clear. But yet again, St. Lucia, play your role, play your part, continue to observe the various protocols, respect people, because not because they say it free up that we believe it free up and we can just do as we please. We still need to respect one another. And our motorists, as always, the life that you save may well be yours, so be careful. And I want to make an appeal, St. Lucia. Please remember the people in Ukraine in your prayer. Please. Because this thing is very disturbing. Please remember them. Let's continue praying for peace. To all women in St. Lucia, and of course further afield, advance International Women's Day to you. Family members, friends, past co-workers and so on. Happy Women's Day in advance. Do enjoy. From me to you, Dibu, gone.